Mode.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Psychic Hour with me, and I'm Sandy Anastasia. It is such a pleasure to see so many people on here this evening. I know the weather has been rainy but still beautiful across the country, at least if you're in the U.S. And so I'm kind of a little surprised to see so many people here and not out by their campfires and looking at the stars and enjoying the warm summer night that we get here in the U.S. So those of you who made it on, I appreciate your being here. And I want to say once again, thank you. We do, or Lisa and I, do this free psychic hour for you monthly. It is always free. It's our pleasure to be here. I just love the interaction that we get with all of you folks, and I love the support you give us and just this great energy that we all kind of produce together just by being here. I want to lay down a couple of rules. I see a lot of familiar faces, so I know that a lot of you have been on the call before, so you folks don't need the rules. But for those of you who are new, this is it's a psychic hour. We're going to be doing psychic readings for as many people as I can fit into this next hour. Lisa, my assistant, who you will see is in the question room, and she's answering questions for you in there as well as I'm answering them here. But Lisa will actually be calling on you. So if you have a question, please, as soon as you think of the question, raise your hand. And then once you get called, if you are lucky enough to be called, that you're going to put your hand down after that. Those of you who are too shy to come on and speak, because that's what we'll do, we're going to be hearing you actually ask your question. If you're too shy to ask your question verbally on the air, well, you're perfectly welcome to type it into the chat room and in that question area. And if Lisa is able to answer that question, she'll do it herself. She's also a psychic and a medium. A lot of people don't know that, in addition to being my assistant. And she's also a pet healer. And so a lot of you who are on here who have questions about your pets on the other side, you might just want to throw some of those at her. She's in the chat room answering questions, calling on folks for the next question. And if she sees a lot of people who are asking the same question of me or a similar question, well, she's more than likely to read one of your questions out so that I can answer it. So don't hesitate to ask your question in the chat room, as well as raising your hand. Now, if you get called on, here's what I want to know from you. First, I'd like your name. I would like to know where you're calling from. That's always a lot of fun because we do get people, as you know, from all over the world, and it's really exciting to know that we have a community that shares so much in common and reaches so many great people. So tell us where you're from, and also tell us what you are most grateful for at this moment in your life. So we're going to start each call out that way. And also, please tell me what your sun sign is. As you can see, I'm working with a chart here, and this is called a horary chart. I cast this chart, or one like it, every time we have a psychic hour. Believe it or not, the way horary astrology works, every single one of you on this call will have all of your questions answered by this chart. It's kind of a unique thing we do in astrology. And so I can work with astrology as well as the tarot cards. And so you're going to be getting that information, and my guides come in and channel the answers as well. So I'm going to be working with cards, astrology, channeling, and what you're going to be saying is your name, where you're from, what you're most grateful for, your sun sign, and then you get to ask your question. Okay, now before we jump in and get started, just bear with me one more moment because I do have a couple of announcements. One of the first things you're going to want to write down is our next psychic hour. We have very little time between the two psychic hours because of the way the schedule's falling for me. Our next psychic hour is September 11th. So that's good news. If I don't hit you with your question this evening, I definitely will be able to get to you next time if you get on and get that hand up early enough. So write it down. September 11th at 9 p.m. is the next psychic hour. Also, folks, for those of you who are actually already practicing psychics or have a metaphysically related business, or who want to do a business in astrology or tarot reading or mediumship or healing or any metaphysically related business at all, even a metaphysical bookstore. If you are opening a business, if you are wanting to expand your business, you folks need to know that I am going to be doing my mastermind coaching program again, which is geared towards metaphysically oriented people who want to take their interest, their hobby, to that next level and actually turn it into a business that can be lucrative, that can give them adequate financial remuneration to support themselves and their families. If you are interested in that, join me in my mastermind program. It is a coaching program that begins on September 15th. It meets 3 times, 1 time a month for 3 months, and it is only $100, which is unbelievably inexpensive. I want to get this world of metaphysics off the ground. I want us all of our gifted, wonderful people that are involved in this field to be as successful as they possibly can. It's one of my personal goals. Another announcement, I will be doing another Evolution of Consciousness webinar. So if you missed the last one, it's online. You'll be able to purchase that. But I also have my next one online. It's on September 22nd, and it is about how to change your life for the better. I'm going to actually give you 7 concrete steps that you can take that will actually start you into moving into positive thinking patterns as opposed to negative thinking patterns. So you can go on my website and read more about that. A couple of last little things. Save the date. Okay, I've got a lot of people asking me, Sandy, we heard your cruise, your psychic cruise last spring was so much fun. Are you going to do another one? Yes, I am. And in fact, Lisa's presently working on that with another one of my assistants, Pat, and it is going to be scheduled for November of 2017. So you're going to want to take vacation time for that. Imagine a whole cruise ship with psychics running around doing readings. And we really do it. It's so much fun. So that's a time to save the date. And also, I want you to be aware, if you're interested in studying in person with me, psychic development, I will only be in person 1 more year. That's 2017. So you're going to want to get involved with those classes starting in January. And I'll also be online teaching the Kabbalah again in January, or it might be February. So I've had a lot of people ask about that too. Okay, enough about me. Let's jump into you and your questions. Remember, when you're called on, your name, where you're from, your birth, your sun sign, your birth date, and what you're most grateful for tonight. Lisa, who's our first questioner, our first caller?
Okay, our first person, if I can find her. There's a lot of people in the room tonight, so it may take me just a few moments. Rachel, you're our first one online. Rachel, you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Rachel. Good evening. And
Good
you get a gold star because you were online. As soon as I came on, your hand was up already.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
nobody had to tell you. You know just how to do it.
Absolutely. Okay. My name is Rachel. I am from Aiken, South Carolina. My sun sign is Cancer. And I would say tonight I'm most grateful for the spiritual growth that I've been going through lately. The universe has been showing me that it's listening and helping me move forward in subtle synchronicities all the time, and I really appreciate that.
That's fabulous. Rachel, welcome. And let me just share something with you and the audience. Rachel's a Cancer, so 2 things are going on for her according to our horary chart. Here's Cancer on the family house of this horary chart. So Rachel's got a lot of family stuff going on that she's got concerns about. And the moon is also transiting through Cancer right now, and it's in the 5th house. So there might very well be some questions about one of your children, if you have children, or about a romantic partner, and if you have one, or if you're in that state of your life. But also, you've got issues going on, having to deal with nurturing, mothering, and a lot of emotional stuff around you right now. So that's kind of an astrological overview. What is your specific question?
Okay, that's actually very helpful. But the question I wanted to ask was, I'm trying to figure out what my career should be, specifically how I can make money right now, and what my spiritual block might be that I could work on in order to improve that situation.
Well, one of the first things I want to say to you, Rachel, is before you even fully identified yourself, my guide said, why is this woman not doing psychic readings? So, you know, I was wondering why my guides were prompting me this evening to announce my coaching program. You were one of the reasons. So, you know, you're saying, what can I do to be making money right now? And this will pertain to a lot of people on this call, what I'm about to say. The chart has the sign Virgo, this grouping of planets in the 6th house. This is everyday life and work. And it is opposing that all those planets in Pisces, which is in the house of the unconscious, and that's where a lot of your fears come from. So, you know, Rachel, exactly what you phrased, I guarantee you that probably 50% of our callers are wrestling with the same question. People are wondering, how can I make money right now? How can I be of service? How can I do something that I really love, that I'm vested in, that I get up in the morning and I want to run to because I love it so much, and yet I can still make money from it, and I can still help people with it, and I can get past those unconscious fears that say to our our unconscious self, no, I can't, or, you know, work is supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to be doing something you like. Okay?
Absolutely.
So your questions are really the questions that, like I said, at least half the people on our call this evening have that same question. And I'm grateful that you asked it. We are going through a very interesting thing in our world right now. We've kind of been trained for many generations that we are supposed to you know, just work. And now naturally we work because we've got to work, we've got to put food on the table, we've got to take care of our families. But we've been told that work isn't supposed to be fun. Work is about work, you know. And if you work hard enough, well, then you'll be able to make it through life and not go hungry and have enough money, and maybe you'll make it into the next world. And in our lifetime right now, first of all, people are living a lot longer. And personally, I think we're getting a lot more intelligent and a lot more savvy. So many people have studied The Secret. We've been studying and following Abraham Hicks, a whole generation of people, and we now understand that we can create our world, we can create our reality. And so many of us are no longer willing to just put that nose to the grindstone and keep plodding along as long as it's putting money on the table. Yes, we want to put food on the table, we want to make money, but we want to do it doing something we love and we take joy in. Now, for you personally, okay, first of all, you are coping with a lot of family issues right now, and I'm sorry, I've got to go back to that thing. But most of your blocks are coming from your family at the same time that your support system has also been your family. And so for you, that creates quite a difficulty, because at the same time that they are pushing you to do what they sent you to school for, what they know is going to make you a solid citizen and have money coming in the future, they're blocking, at the same time they're giving that support, they're blocking your achievement because they're holding their insights and their beliefs about what you are capable of and what you should be doing, and they're trying to force you into that mold. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're not, I've got to tell you, you're a money maker, my friend. You're not somebody who's ever going to have trouble making money. And you're not going to have trouble supporting your family and taking care of yourself, whether you're married or not married. You have to develop that, yeah, I can do what I'm good at, and I can actually enjoy it, and I can make money with it, and it doesn't have to be because I'm living up to the expectations of my family, no matter how wonderful their intentions are. Okay, now do you have a more specific question? Because that's the big overview of it. And I think once you work your way through that, things are going to really fall into place for you, and you're going to find that the money starts to pour in because you're going to be doing what you love and what you want to do. My friend, you are so amazingly creative. Now, my guide said, why isn't she doing psychic work? So you could be doing that. But they're also saying you need to be doing something which is creative. You need to be doing something which heals and helps people along the way, but allows you to give of yourself creatively while you're doing it. And I think you've been funneled into fields that don't give you room for that creativity. Does this all make sense?
That makes perfect sense, yes.
Okay, do you have a specific question about a specific channel? Because I'd love to give you a specific here.
That's what I need. I need a specific. I don't know. Everything you said is exactly true. The creativity, the spirituality, the psychic, everything. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to take those things and what job that should be, what that job looks like. Okay.
In which case, I'm going to do something I usually don't do. I'm going to encourage you to sign up for my mastermind. I think that, you know, it's interesting that you were the first caller. My guide said, tell her about the mastermind. By the time you come out of that program, not only will you know what you should be doing, you're going to know how you should be organizing it, how you should be setting it up, and you're going to have actual steps to make it happen. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to go onto my website and actually read about it, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Your issue isn't the talent. It's not the creativity. It's not the capability. It's the being able to actually take that first step and take it with a sense of self-assurance. Okay?
Absolutely.
And you've been talking about it for ages. Okay. And you've been, every time the going gets really rough, instead of saying, okay, well, now's the time I'm going to start my business in the psychic area, you go and you get another job, you know, doing something you've done in the past that doesn't bring any joy, but gives you a couple of extra bucks, you see?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You've got to set your sights higher. You're worth a heck of a lot more than that, my friend.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, it's terrifying, but okay.
That sounded like I was talking around the issue. Believe me, I'm not, okay? Because you know that anything that you take joy in, you are going to be successful at, because that's your nature. Right. You just haven't found the thing yet that you could apply yourself to, because it doesn't measure up to your family's desires.
Exactly.
Sorry. I'm not known for being gentle, okay?
Right. That's fine.
Well, good luck to you, okay? And I know that once you actually put your foot in that water, once you force yourself to take the first step, you're going to start running, and you're going to be so successful with it, you're just going to amaze yourself at how easily it comes together.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And Lisa, who's our next caller?
All right, our next caller is going to be Margie. Margie, you are unmuted.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Margie.
Can you see us?
I can hear you.
You can't see it. Okay.
No, I cannot see you. On this platform, we only have sound. You can see me if you're live. Those of you who will only get this on the recording, which I know some people have just signed up and will do that, you're not going to see me either. You'll just see the astrology chart if you only get the recording. If you're live, you'll see me, and you'll hear each other's voices, but you will not see one another.
All right. My name is Margie. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm most grateful for my husband, and I'm a Capricorn. And my question is, do you believe that people are becoming more spiritual due to actual changes in our DNA?
Oh, I absolutely do. And I don't, you know, DNA is you just opened a whole can of worms, because there are two different comments here. Let me address the first one first. I absolutely believe people are becoming more spiritual. And as they become more spiritual, or maybe I should say they're becoming more psychic, and as they become more psychic, they are also becoming more spiritual, because when you begin to develop your psychic senses, you begin to see the world with greater color, greater intensity, more layers to reality. And you have to become more spiritual, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to you, you see. So spirituality is kind of from the way I see it, kind of an outgrowth of this increased psychic awareness. One of the reasons, one of my very powerful desires is to try and work towards the psychic education of every man, woman, and child on the planet, is because I already know we are becoming psychic, and more so, but so many of us don't recognize it, don't know how to handle it, don't know what to do with it, and it is causing a lot of problems. So, and I could go on and teach a whole lecture just on that. Relative to DNA, read a book by Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief, because what they're beginning to discover is that DNA isn't necessarily attached to your genes. DNA can be changed with your thought processes. And so that's just something for you to go and research on your own. I don't want to take up too much time with it. But yes, short answer, I absolutely believe that.
Okay, thank you.
Margie, where are you calling from?
Pittsburgh,
Where are you calling from?
my bedroom,
No, the state or the country.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Okay. And can I ask what your sun sign is?
Capricorn.
Okay, oh, that's right. You did tell that to me. Okay. And so we have you right up here. Capricorn is the career house point. Okay. And so it really makes sense that you're talking about things or asking questions about things that are really worldwide questions. Pluto in this house is the planet that rules the unconscious of generations of people. So you're tapping into what's going on universally and asking that question. And I'm sorry, did you tell me what you're most grateful for this evening? I think I missed it.
My husband.
Oh, yes, you did. And can I ask why you're so grateful for him?
We had a very nice afternoon.
Okay. And I won't ask anything else about that. Okay. So, okay. And Margie, what's your specific question for yourself? Because that was a great one. Thanks for sharing that.
Well, I'm a spiritualist. I go to Lilydale a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Have connected many times. My question would be about my daughter, who is alive, but she's developing some kind of illness, and I'm grieving for her. And I don't know if this is just her life path, she's got to face this stuff, or what I should do.
Well, and I did want to just address something here because, again, you know, Margie, you're a multifaceted woman. That's obvious. And in your questions and the comments you're making, there are many facets. So there are different parts of this to answer. The first thing is you wanted to know, is your daughter ill? And my guide is saying, yes, she is. But it's an illness that's attached to a relationship. And she is attempting to be the perfect woman in that relationship. She's living up to a persona, if you will, that is not herself. Now, if you want to call that an illness, I guess if it's pushed to the extreme, it can certainly be an illness.
Jumping up.
Pardon?
My guides are jumping up and down right now saying, Sandy nailed it.
And the thing is that she's feeling stuck between. So you see, you are feeling like she is ill because of the way she is acting or the person she's becoming. And that's not what the illness actually is. The illness is because she's feeling stuck between the relationship partner, who is apparently a very controlling and manipulative person, and other people in her life that she feels very emotionally connected to. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the poor girl has colitis, if she's, you know, crying herself to sleep at night, if she's not knowing how to deal with the world, because she can't be all things to all people, and that's what she's trying to be. So yeah. There could very well not just be emotional illness, but also physical illness coming out of this situation in time. Now, that was the first part of your question. She really isn't the problem. The young man is the problem. Now, can I ask how old your daughter is?
29.
And she doesn't live at home with you?
No.
Okay. And the reason I ask those things is because when you have a child that's living with you at any age, my concept is if you're under somebody else's roof and you're living with them and they're paying the bills, et cetera, well, their roof, their rules. Okay, so if she was living with you, you would have some say in this. If she was underage, you have more than some say in it. You're actually responsible for it as her guardian, as her parent. But if she is of age and she is living independently on her own, Margie, there's not a thing you can do about this. The only way you can really help your daughter is by completely letting go of any dynamic control you have in her life. So if she says, Mom, I'm going to do blah, you say, fine, Margie. If she says, Mom, I hate that, you say, fine, that's okay. If she says, Mom, I'm not coming for Christmas dinner, you say, well, if you change your mind, it's okay. You getting my point? The only way you can actually help her is to relieve the pressure. And generally speaking, get this because this is important, generally speaking, in that kind of situation, because she is actually with somebody who is taking joy in manipulating her against other people, when there's nobody left to be manipulated against, when all the other people have backed off and said, that's fine, that young man is going to start to pick fights with her. And she's going to have to face the fact that he may not be the right person for her.
Thank you. That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's a very hard road that you've got ahead of you because you really are going to have to stand by and watch her hurt herself.
Yeah, I have.
And incidentally, I just want to tell you something. That is a Capricorn mother lesson. So it's one of your life lessons. You brought her up, you nurtured her, you guided her, you taught her, and now you have to let her go to live her own life and make her own mistakes. And that's the hardest lesson for any Capricorn to learn.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. I've learned so much from you.
Well, thank you so much because, I appreciate, that was a very personal question, and I do appreciate your asking it online because I know, especially since you are the Capricorn appearing in the midheaven, the top of the chart, with Pluto there, I will guarantee you there are at least 5 or 10 other people on this call who have the same problem with somebody close to them in their life whom they dearly love, only they might not have had the courage to ask that question out loud. So, my friend, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, and good luck.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Lisa, who is our next caller?
Alrighty, our next person is going to be Liz R. Liz, you're unmuted.
Hello,
Hi.
Liz.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so thankful for you. And I'm so happy to be talking to you tonight. My sister is also listening. And, well, first of all, I am a Gemini, and I live in Colorado. And I wanted to ask, if I could, a question for my sister. She's a Cancer, and she's listening, and she's going through a really hard time. And as you said before, with your first caller, it's with her child. And our family is giving her support as much as we can, but it's through her job that she had. She was a daycare provider, and someone accused him of something that we know in our...
Hold on,
okay.
Because I'd rather give you the information.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
My guides are showing you, they're showing me legal issues here. That's why I stopped you, because now you're
Yes. Yes.
And they are telling me that there really is not anything more your sister can do, okay?
Right.
whole situation is going to be resolved fairly. There is a neat learning lesson here that everyone involved is going to be having. There is a choice and a decision coming up that your sister did make in the past that led to this problem. You're going to be forced to rethink that decision. And I think so it's like something that happened before, she's going to have to come up again. She gets to change how she's doing this. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to be asking if she's going to continue to have the daycare. And
no,
she's
done.
No. She's going to have that opportunity again. So apparently she isn't done. And
well, she's in the same line of work, but not at home.
Yep. And that was a decision that came up before and is coming up again. And this whole thing has caused her to go down a route that is going to work much better for her. Apparently in the daycare, to begin with, even without this legal situation she's dealing with now, there were far too many rules, regulations, governing responsibilities. She was not able to cope with that. She wasn't able to meet all of those requirements.
Okay.
I see her staying in the field she's in, and I see her being very successful with that in the future.
Wonderful.
And my condolences, really, that there's any
Thank you.
here. But honestly, I think in the long run, it's going to be for the better because it's getting her to make the changes she really needs to make.
That's what we're saying.
Yep. You're right on. You're right on.
Okay.
Since I've got you on the phone, are you thinking about changing profession? Because that's what my guides are telling me you're about to do.
Well, yes, and I've talked to you a little bit about that before, and it's slowly happening through, I need to be more organized in it.
A lot closer. You had an opportunity coming up probably a couple of months ago that was an opportunity, and that opportunity is going to come up again. And I don't know what it is that's causing you to hold on to the status quo. Is it fear? Is it inexperience? Is it, okay, that I'm sure about the income here. I'm not sure that this will work if I go for it. But, you know, you're going to have to get off your stump.
Okay. Also, we're going through a refi, and I just want to make sure that's going to all be okay.
It does. The refi looks like it's going to do fine.
Great.
It's a very good idea. Very good idea.
Good, good.
Calling in. Good luck to you.
I love you. We love you so much. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay.
And Lisa, who is next?
Okay, our next person is going to be Alice. Alice, you're unmuted.
Hello, Alice. Alice, you may be muted on your end. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Okay, I'm still not hearing you. So I can't get any direct question from you. You might want to type your question into the question room with Lisa. My guides are talking about you getting ready to leave a situation you've been working very hard at. And apparently your question was going to concern that. I do see a move. I do see this being something which is emotionally difficult, but I see it being a very successful choice, a very successful move. So I hope that answered your question. Lisa, let's go on to the next person.
All righty, the next person, I can come down here and find her. Again, my apologies. I have to scroll down a very long list of names tonight. Stacy. Stacy,
Okay.
you're unmuted.
Stacy, can you hear us? Stacy, I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Thank you.
Oh, yay. Okay, no problem. I am from Fort Charlotte, Florida. I'm a Cancer. And I'm very grateful for my boyfriend and my friends and my massage therapy career. My question was, I was wondering whether I should be pursuing massage therapy in the form of teaching, either this year or coming next year after this season, whether this season is going to be a really good season for me and I need to focus on that. And then I have another side question, but I just wondered what you thought about that first.
Yeah, you need that extra year. And I don't, my feeling is that it's both because it's going to be a really good year financially, but it's also because this coming year you're going to be making connections. You're going to be making contacts that will help you in your teaching career with the massage therapy. There's another thing, too. I don't know where you were thinking of going to teach massage or if you were thinking of doing it on your own, but it feels like you were going to be teaching with somebody or for a company, and that is going to change. So it's going to work out much better if you do it a year from now than if you were to do it now when there could be things like politics and things that you don't want to be bothering with. Okay?
Okay.
But it looks like you're going to be very successful with this. You've been successful with your massage career. It's going to keep growing, and you're also going to be successful in your teaching massage, but I think it's going to happen differently than you're presently anticipating. And you had a second question. I don't normally do 2 questions, but go ahead. We'll squeeze it in.
Okay, no, just real quick. I had about 2 weeks ago, I woke up with a nosebleed, and I've never had one of those in my life. And then at the same time, my boyfriend had a dream about doctors pulling tubes out of his nose, kind of a thing. Not quite sure whether that has anything. We don't know what to make of it. It was one of those things that had happened, and they were masked doctors. I don't know whether it was like possible abduction type thing or something to that effect. But I just wondered whether you had any thoughts on that.
It's interesting. I've never, to the best of my knowledge, I've not been abducted, so I don't know a whole lot about it. No first-hand experience there. But I do believe that there's such a thing as abductions, and anything like that is certainly possible. What my guides are telling me, though, is that your dream was very connected to him, or his dream was connected to you. So definitely your nosebleed and his thing about the tubes in the nose were very much connected. And, I'm going to ask, this is going to be crazy, but I'm not going to ask so much you, but him, to please get his sinus cavities in the nasal area looked at, okay?
Okay.
Do you have anything medically, I'm asking, that needs to be looked at? I really don't think so. I think this is connected to him, but it certainly wouldn't have was looked at anyway. My feeling is that there was literally something that was in the environment, a toxic chemical that basically harmed the arteries or capillaries, and it feels actually more like it was in his nose than yours. But you might have picked it up psychically because of the work that you do.
Yeah, okay, because that type of thing's happened before. We've had shared dreaming and whatnot as well. So, okay,
yeah.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have that. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, and it sounds really way out, when 2 people are sharing the same bed, and especially when they have a very strong emotional and psychic connection, an awful lot of times those dreams happen together. Sometimes your husband is the one who did the hard work. You end up with the backache. These things are not your imagination. We share these things back and forth. But always it's a good idea for you to both get it checked out. And I'm thinking kind of like an over-drying of something going on in the nasal cavity, but I do think it's more him than you, but you should both get it checked out. Is it a possible abduction thing? In this case, I don't think so. But I would say go with your own feelings on that. Okay?
All right, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. And Lisa, who's next, please?
All righty. I know that I'm going to get this name wrong. Saria? You're unmuted?
Hello? Hello, you may be muted on your own side. We've unmuted you. Can you try unmuting yourself?
Saria? Saria? I know I'm mispronouncing that.
Spell it.
Sariel?
Saria? Okay, well, I have pulled a couple of cards for you. I hope before I'm done with my little mini reading here that you get yourself unmuted. I see a lot of conflict around you, and this has been building for a long time. It's infighting, there's battling, and it's time to talk. It's time to bring things out in the open, to no longer have hidden resentments, to actually talk about issues. The only resolution possible to the current situations that are going on is to communicate them. What's interesting is that the cards I pulled here also may indicate that the issues we're having have to do with your online connection. You may be calling from another country and the internet speed is too slow or something like that. We may have literally communication problems between us. So I do hope you're going to either call in another time or perhaps type your question into the question room. And folks, this is a good time for me to tell you, those of you who are physically on this call and don't get a chance to ask a question, if you have a burning question, just one, mind you, that you would like to ask me and or Lisa, you may send it to the address on this, on this format, on this program, and Lisa and I, over this next few weeks, will make every attempt to get back to as many of them as we can. Again, you've got to be physically present on the call, and you only get one question. Okay, so Saria, if you fall into that category, I'll welcome your question if I didn't hit it with that mini reading I just gave to you. And Lisa, who is next?
Okay, the next person I have is Jacqueline. Jacqueline, you are unmuted.
Hi,
Hello,
Sandy.
Jacqueline.
I'm in Naples, Florida. I'm Pisces, and I'm most grateful for having this horrific year come to an end, and looking forward to a wonderful future where all of the issues from the past year have resolved, hopefully positively for everyone. My question, it's so funny when we go back to the first caller and you said 50% were on the call with a similar question. I have a wonderful life and a wonderful career and have several sources of income and revenue that come in. I recently made a life change, sold everything I own, am staying in a rental property owned by my family member, and my revenues are trickling in, and I'm 50% down from where I was last year financially at this time, and I don't know what tomorrow holds. And I have a contract that was never signed for work I did. That's supposed to be a big deal that I'm owed $11,000 on. Haven't gotten that yet, and I'm concerned about my revenues and where I go from here. I feel like I'm at a crossroads.
Well, I do see the revenues continuing to come in. Do make other plans. Don't spend that $11,000. It looks like you may get it eventually, but there's delays on that. Okay, and I'm sure you're already aware of that. My condolences as well, because I see, I don't know if it's a death or a divorce, but I'm seeing that loss behind you, and it was devastating. I can see that. I want to tell you that happiness is in your future, so open to that. And I think you've made very wise decisions and choices in moving into the situation that you're in and putting yourself into a better financial situation than you have been. I also think that things are going to get better, but it's getting better slowly. I want to spend a moment talking about something which is going on for Pisces, and I want to show everybody here. Here, those of you who are Pisceans, you see where I'm putting my cursor is in the 12th house of this chart. There it is. And in that 12th house are the signs Neptune and South Node and Chiron. And if you are a Pisces or the opposing sign Virgo, or one of the two signs that make hard aspects to Pisces, which would be Sagittarius or Gemini, your life has been going through, for at least the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of ups and downs and shifts. Things are being taken from you little by little that you thought you could never do without. And the key here is, number one, to be willing to let go of what is not necessary in your life, and to be willing to let go of all those things that block your growth and your development. And I know that sounds, I want you to know, this sounds like it's, hey, yes, Andy, it's easy for you to say this. This isn't happening to you, it's happening to me. But I've got to tell you, it's happened to me too. You may be the Pisces, but I'm the Gemini, okay? And we Geminis are going through those same kinds of issues, although not quite as directly as you Pisces are. And there really are a whole lot of sacrifices being made, and releases, and disillusionments, and finally realizing and recognizing that life is just not what we thought it was. But after we've done all that letting go, we find this kernel, this nugget of something very special that we never knew was there before. And that's what's coming into your life. So what you're going to be doing, and I think what you're really wondering is what is coming next. First of all, in the immediate future, I got to tell you, the struggle is not done, because you're not done with the change of consciousness that's going on for you. You're not done with this total shift in who you are inside. On the other side of this shift, there will be family, there will be support, there will be an emotional partner that is probably the best partner that you have ever had in your life. So either it will be a new partnership or a relationship you're in that undergoes a transformation and moves to a new level. I see you back in charge. I see you splitting your time between two different places, could be two different cities, and I see you probably moving into a job or work situation which gives you a great deal of responsibility. But you are going to be having to maybe take a deep breath and say, I can do this. And you're going to have to take that step on faith, and you're going to have to trust yourself again. And you haven't trusted yourself in a long time now. So sorry about kind of peeling the orange on that one and exposing all the insides, but I think you get what I'm talking about. You're in the midst of this amazing transformation, which is going to take you to places you never dreamed of. And in the middle of it, there's all this letting go, and it's hurtful, and it's scary, and it's frightening. And you are going to take steps in your life that you never believed you would take, and that is going to lead you to a new level of success in your world that you would never have done without the experiences you've had. Can you believe me on that?
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to, there's been a year of horrific tragedy unlike that I would ever have imagined that I had to go through with close friends and family members. And still now, something really scary happening with a family member. So we're still not quite out of the woods. But can you give me generally, I know that I have to go through these things, and letting go wasn't hard of the stuff.
It's the people.
The thing.
Of course, it's the people.
Yeah. It's
what you're letting go of. Yeah, what you're letting go of is the requirement to be of service and help everyone. And you can't.
Really?
And that's the hardest thing in the world for you.
You're right, because I took on everything. I had personally no problems in my life. I took on everybody's problems, and I walked into a horrifying, horrific, something in a movie, a horror movie, and experienced that, and never imagined in a million years would I think I would go through that. But
the way I described that years and years ago, I remember when I was a youngster taking life-saving, okay? And then I had the opportunity in a pool situation to see a young woman maybe a 13-year-old. And being big, strong Sandy, I dove into that pool and I swam over because I was going to save her life. And what I discovered is that when somebody is drowning, they don't care who you are, what you look like, how big or strong you are. She climbed me like a tree. She stood on my shoulders. She pushed me to the bottom of the pool. Somebody else had to dive into the pool to rip us apart because she would not let go and she was drowning me. Okay? There was a message in that that I want everybody on this call to hear. You know, in the airlines, when they tell you, when they're giving you the description of what to do with those air canisters when they fall, and they say, put that over your face first and then help the person next to you, there's a reason for that. If you invite horror into your life, you're going to pay the same price as that person who's dragging you through it. You have to, we all want to help. We all want to be there for the ones we love. But we all have to do this with discernment. We have to do this with, you know, the old saying, you help those who are helping themselves. Be cautious where you reach out and give aid. And that, for you, is a Pisces life lesson. And so you had so many people and things ripped away from you. You lost the stuff. More importantly, you lost and are still losing the people. Okay? And you are needing to discern. Help should be going to those you can help, and then you only help once, and then you step back. And if they deserve that help, they will take what you gave them and they will run with it and become successful, and they will be healed. Is this helping a little?
It helps a lot, and because you said so many things right on, but can we get a time frame for me on when I'm going to feel the change of the tide and the shift?
It can happen almost instantly. My guides are giving me 6. That could be June, that could be 6 months, that could be 6 days. They're telling me 6. What's interesting is the number 6 is the number of health and healing. And they're also telling me that this can happen as soon as you get yourself rebalanced, recentered, refocused, and get your head turned on straight about help yourself first. If you don't put that oxygen mask on you first, you can't help anybody else on that plane to breathe.
Yes.
You got it?
Well, I don't even know what to say. I feel, though, that the people that I helped, people would be dead right now if I hadn't gone through what I went through. If I hadn't taken the steps.
That's glorious and wonderful. But, you know, you got to be careful. You don't get, well, maybe you're ready to die too. Self-sacrifice is not a bad thing, but don't keep doing it unless you're ready to take that next step along with them.
You're right.
I know that was very cruel for me to say, but don't walk blindly into anything like that. Keep those eyes open. Okay?
Okay.
I don't want to be on the other side one day and you saying, I don't know how this happened. Okay? Whatever you do, I want you to be completely conscious and willing that you did it. Okay? So that's setting some boundaries. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing with us. And Lisa, I think I have time for one more caller.
Alrighty, I'm going to unmute Columba.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, I'm Columba. I am grateful for my spiritual development over these 60 years. And I know that the universe has always had my back, even though I didn't trust it and recognize it. And now I do trust it, or I'm getting better at it. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm an Aquarius.
And where are you calling from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Welcome. And what's your question?
My question is, I've come out of a relationship of 5 years. I lost myself in it, and nothing was happening. I work in a barbershop and manage it, and it's been getting better, but I'm always looking for something else to do that's mine, and I've had a lot of different ideas. I paint, and I know I'm psychic, but I don't know the direction to go in. And I don't want to keep on like looking and guessing and trying to figure it out.
Yeah, let me just interrupt you for a moment. One of your big problems, and I hate to jump on the relationship, but I think when you first opened the call and you said, I've just come out of this 5-year relationship where I feel like I lost myself, that is the reason why you're having trouble finding direction right now. And I don't want to simply blame it on that relationship. There's something very interesting about we gals who tend to lose ourselves. I don't know how I did this, but let me see if I can get there we go. When you get into a relationship and you want so badly for that person to see you and want you for who you are, that not realizing it, you were trying so hard to be everything that they want. And if you end up in a relationship with somebody who's very picky or, or very controlling or just an overbearing personality who only thinks about themselves, which often happens, okay?
It was all of that.
Yeah, it was all of those things. What happens is you lose yourself. Well, you've come out of that relationship recently, but it wasn't just that relationship. It has been a lifetime of being that person who was almost a people pleaser. So now you've come out of that relationship and you said, I don't really want to go into another relationship until I know what I want. And you have not ever given yourself the opportunity, at least not in the last 20 years, my guides are saying 23 years, they're correcting me, to decide what you want. Now, you're incredibly creative, you're very nurturing, you're very caring. Yes, you could be a psychic or a tarot reader. Yes, you could be an artist. You could display your paintings right there in the barbershop and probably sell them, or put them on the walls in local restaurants and sell them. There are countless things that you can do in the creative fields. You also, in addition to your barbering job, which that is a good outlet for your creativity, by the way, but in addition to that barbering job, you could do something with food because you're also very creative in the kitchen, okay? So you've got so the thing is you've got all these options that you could do. It's not really a matter of, what am I going to do that I have a skill at. If you're deciding, almost like a kid out of high school, now that I'm free, what do I want? And in your life, you are so used to living up to someone else's expectations, or someone telling you what you need to do, or where they want you to work, or what time they want dinner, or what they want to eat for dinner. You getting it?
Yes.
For your whole life by everybody else's rules. And right now, nobody's giving you their rules to follow. And so you're lost. It's almost like you want me to say, you need to get together with that girlfriend and open your own restaurant. And then you would do it and you'd make it successful. But guess what? My guides aren't going to tell you that. Because part of your growth is figuring out what you want. I can tell you that you will be successful doing anything that you choose. You are one of those people. You just have to make your mind up which thing you want.
That's the hard part because it's like I love everything.
Well, you love it all and you're good at it all. So maybe what you need to do is to make yourself a list of all these things you love and then make a list of which ones are going to produce the most money and then organize that into what you can live with and how can you take those 5 or 6 things that are left and build them into one business, one career that you can be successful and happy with.
So if it's my paintings, then I just put out my paintings. Whatever it is I decide, I do it.
Exactly. That's
that easy.
Yeah, quit waiting for somebody else to tell you this is what you need to do. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck. You're going to be very successful. You just have to get out of your own way and make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for having been on the call with me this evening. You, as always, are a delightful, wonderful group of people. Anyone who was here on the call who has a burning question you did not get a chance to answer, I will be glad to, and so will Lisa, to try and get to one question for each person. If you just send that question to the email that's on the GoToWebinar, we will make every effort to get back. Short questions, short answers, but we'll try to get back to you on them. Next time we meet, the next Psychic Hour, remember, September 11th at 9 o'clock. That's only a couple of weeks from now. So hopefully everybody I didn't get to tonight, I will get to then. Thank you, everyone. It's a delight to have been with you this evening. I wish you all love and happiness and joy in your lives. Good night.